What's up guys? Happy Tuesday. So I want to put together a really quick video answering one of my most frequently asked questions, and that's just a high-level overview on the differences in sponsored display and DSP. I think that there's a major gap in the Amazon advertising space with education around these two different ad types, how they compare, how they differentiate, things like that. So keeping it generic, I didn't put together any slides or anything. I just wanted to walk through some of the biggest callouts that I personally have based off the questions and the feedback I get from you guys. So first and foremost, sponsored display and DSP are two different things. Oftentimes I'll reach out to brands and ask if they're running DSP and they respond, yeah, we have display going within our advertising account, but that's not quite accurate. Although they're both display ad types, they are two completely different platforms, different targeting and different KPIs, a bunch of differences between the two of them. A lot of the confusion has been drove from Amazon. Amazon actually changed the name of DSP later on down the road. It was originally called AMG, which is Amazon Media Group, who managed display. And then a lot of the reps you talk to will kind of confuse sponsored display and display. If they ask you for a display package, it's typically DSP. If they ask you if you're running sponsored display, that's just the sponsored display within your account. So what do those two look like and how do they differ? Well, first and foremost, sponsored display is ran from your Amazon advertising account manager. So if you go to Seller Central or if you're under Vendor Central, your Amazon advertising that's ran through those two entities under Advertising Console has sponsored display. Now, once you go to sponsored display, you're typically going to see these targeting types: views and product targeting. Some accounts, I believe, still have searches, which was a small beta that was rolled out through a lot of kind of the OG vendors. But you have the opportunity to run product targeting, which is extremely similar to all of the other ad types. Under product targeting, you have product targeting and category targeting. And then you have the opportunity to run views remarketing, which right now is CPC. In some accounts, I have seen a CPM model, but views remarketing is the one that's in the majority of the accounts that we're seeing. You scroll down and you'll see you have the opportunity to advertise on a look back window of 30 days. So you're going to serve ads to all of your consumers who viewed competitor products in the last 30 days. You also have the opportunity to serve an ad to competitors who viewed your advertised products in the last 30 days. This is a traditional display ad type. This is what sponsored display looks like. Now, the key call out with these is they are more about brand awareness. We don't have a lot of control other than bid. It's minimal control just based on bid management and targeting, very similar to every single other ad type. And then if we look throughout the page, we'll see that they still typically show up right here, directly below the buy box. Now, with some of these, we do have the opportunity, to write copy and put a logo, which is pretty cool. This is something that's actually not new for sponsored display. That has been rolled out since 2017 when it used to be a product display ad. Again, Amazon completely changed the naming. So if you've been in the game for a while and you used to run under AMS, which was the Vendor Central Amazon Marketing Services, you'll be familiar with a PDA, which is a product display ad. Nothing new, still just a sponsored display ad. And again, we had the ability to write copy under sponsored display and upload your logo. So how does that differentiate from DSP? Well, if we scroll over, this is your campaign manager: sponsored products, sponsored brands, sponsored display. DSP is a completely different platform. It means demand side platform. The ads it serves are still display, but this is what it looks like. So we now have the ability to have advertisers create orders with line items and build custom creatives. So this is some of the key differences in DSP. DSP is a whole different platform. In order to run DSP ads, you either have to go strictly through Amazon and work with a partner who's going to sell you on a display package. It's a typical minimum of $35,000. That's pretty dependent on the rep you're working with, but it is a spend minimum of $35,000. Typically a 3-month commitment. Again, that can be pretty flexible depending on what package that they serve you. Or if you don't want to work through Amazon due to kind of lack of flexibility, you can work with any partner who has their own DSP platform. Now, the majority of sellers do not have access to their own DSP platform because it is much, much different, much more complicated. There are a few sellers and vendors out there that have their own access, either through a legacy access that was given many years back, or they're just large enough vendors that they can justify having their own DSP platform. But if you're not one of those people, you need to work with a partner rep. So we have access to our own DSP account manager, and this is what it looks like. It's a different platform we log into. The drop-down menu has all of our brands under one spot. This is a little bit different than Amazon advertising, where everything's isolated to the brand. We own the data here. So brands cannot typically log in to our account because all of our brands are underneath. Now there's different dashboards and UIs and API releases that have allowed people to developers to build dashboards for DSP, but we own the data. So if a brand were to come to us and say, hey, we want to run DSP, that would mean they would pay us upfront the spend required for DSP and the retainer. So we would take that and we incur the cost of the spend. So we have to make sure to hit our budget goals. So that's a little bit different than Amazon advertising, where your spend is hooked up directly to your credit card and you just pay an agency fee. That's one of the big differences we see. Now, DSP is like everything under Amazon advertising console on steroids. We do have audience insights on DSP. We have the ability to build custom creatives. We have the ability to target based off shopper marketing habits. It's much similar to any traditional demand side platform, where we just have like 3,000% increase in control over DSP. Now, it is typically still cost per impression, but it's just much more incredible in that we can target based off so many different things like job position, whoever we think our main customer is. We can target, if we're selling chapstick, we can target people who are like buying sunscreen in a much broader approach and then remarket them with those ads. It is on and off platform, and custom creatives again is a really big insight. Now, the biggest thing I want people to realize is it's a different type of mentality. On Amazon advertising, we are able to basically target a specific keyword, wait for a customer to type in that keyword, and they find our ad. For DSP, you really want to go after it with the approach that you're going out and finding your customers. You're trying to figure out what their habits are, who your avatar is for your main customer, and then go after them and target them. You want to find them, shopping in the baby aisle on Amazon and serve them with your product. You are going out and finding them versus Amazon advertising. They're coming to you. You're making sure your ad's in the right spot. Now, we do have really minimal product targeting, category targeting insights on DSP, but it's really not giving you the highest point of value if you're waiting for them to come to you. You can do that on Amazon advertising. So we recommend using DSP to be a bit more aggressive and go after people. Yes, ROAS, can be fantastic on DSP, but the way we look at it, if you have a $10 to $20 ROAS, you're potentially just remarketing people who are already familiar with your brand. It's almost more beneficial to really lower that ROAS and go after new consumers who are wanting to become aware of your brand. So that's the things that we look at there. It's definitely a healthy split. You still want to hit your ROAS goals for the brands that we're working for. So we want to have a healthy mixture of remarketing, prospecting, and then kind of moving up the funnel. But that's the biggest difference in DSP. It is a million times more complex. If you're interested in learning more, highly recommend going through the Amazon advertising education portal and then just taking the courses on DSP. That's a really great way to get started. Now, just as a simple walkthrough, so these ads that you see that are dynamic, they're moving, they're custom creatives, these are DSP ads. What's beautiful about that is if you have a agency or company that doesn't have a product on Amazon, you can run DSP ads. So auto insurance can't be purchased on Amazon, but you can run a DSP ad on Amazon. We also look through here, we can see that we have more DSP ads like this. Or like this, again, this is a custom creative. They were able to build it out and it looks pretty good. It's going out and finding someone who is wanting a Subaru. It's not waiting for them to search Subaru and find them. Again, this is a DSP ad. I do want to see if I can see one more. Let's see if we go to like Gatorade. Gatorade has some fantastic DSP creatives running. I doubt I'll be able to go out and find them, of course, because they need to find me. But typically the beauty of DSP is you're going to be remarketed with an ad. So I'm actually not seeing any right now. But DSP is going to follow your customer around. So it's going to identify who that top person is and then serve them with an ad all around the platform, on and off. So if you have a high price point, this is fantastic because it's going to take more to convince a person to buy your product. If you have a replenishable item, DSP is amazing because every 30-day window or 45-day window when your product runs out of, or they finish your product, you want to serve them with another ad. So these are some of the high-level differences in sponsored display and DSP. Again, they are two different Amazon advertising platforms, two different models. We typically recommend viewing them in two different mindsets. The billing for them is completely different, but that's pretty much the basics. So hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I have anything else that I think I may have missed, I will link them in this video. I'll also link an article on Helium-10 we wrote breaking down what DSP looks like. And if you have any other DSP questions for me, please feel free to shoot me a message. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this short video. See ya. Have a wonderful rest of your week.